Do you want to be successful on LinkedIn? I don't. Growing your business on LinkedIn so you can pay the mortgage and feed the family, it's all overrated. Plus, it can make you too comfortable. And you know the saying, you should never get too comfortable. In this video, we're going to make sure comfort never happens in your career by exploring all the amazing opportunities you have to fail on LinkedIn. And we're going to do it through a flowchart I've created just for you. Now, of course, the easiest way to completely fail on LinkedIn is to delete your account. And you can try that and mission accomplished. But if you're anything like me, you want to work for your failure. So we're going to work on your profile, engagement, and content. So let's start with your profile. And how much we do here depends on how much you've already filled out. Now, if it's hardly filled out, keep it that way. LinkedIn profiles with limited information are way less likely to appear in search results, and we don't want people finding you. And of course, for the few people who happen to stumble upon your profile, they'll at least get the clear message that you're not proactive, detail-oriented, or invested in your career. That's the message we want. Now, if your profile is somewhat filled out, delete a few parts, and you want to delete the parts that are most important. First, get rid of your profile picture because a picture can help establish trust. Your headline here is also a dangerous area for attracting new customers, especially if you share how you help people. More on that later. The headline is a required field and you can't delete that altogether, but you can put a little dash here. Now, I can't take credit for this idea. I've just seen a couple other LinkedIn members put the dash there, and these guys are trailblazers. Finally, delete the About section. I learned recently that when someone's on your profile, they spend about 52% of their time on average on the About section. We want to change 52% to 0%. But what if you've already spent hours and hours working on your profile and you don't want to delete that hard work? It's okay, I honor what a hard worker you are, so I'm going to give you extra work to sabotage your profile. First, let's look at your banner. If you haven't already made it irrelevant to your brand, now's the time to do so. Like for instance, if you're a certified public accountant, show a picture of your vacation at Yosemite National Park. You want to create a visual disconnect between the banner image and what you do professionally that people could hire you for. Now, if you still want a profile picture here, it needs to be unprofessional, okay? Unprofessional. I recommend a slightly blurry picture and one that's at least 15 years old. Mine's going on 13 years, so I am almost there. Other opportunities for self-sabotage are holding a whiskey sour or including Whiskers the cat. If you're a woman, be sure to show a lot of skin in the chest area so no one takes you seriously. And for both men and women, wear sunglasses. It adds an aura of mystery, and it also says, I'm Mr. Cool, when really no one else thinks that. And whatever you do, do not smile. You do not want to be approachable. Now, we touched on the headline earlier, but if you're such a hard worker, it would break your heart to just put a dash here. At least reduce your headline to your title and company name. So when I get around to changing my own headline to President at Delaware ShoutOut, I can be sure that no one at a glance will know what it is I actually do. I can only wish the same for you. What's more, I'm going to show up in fewer industry searches, unless someone is searching specifically for a President of Delaware ShoutOut, in which case I'm out of luck. You also want to remove any hints that you solve your customers' problems. So you don't want to give people any reason to want to hire you. That may mean you have to delete some text from your profile, but if you want to replace it with other text, make it meaningless stuff like obscure acronyms or other confusing industry jargon. Now, for extra credit, you can use some cliches that are so overused that they've lost all impact, such as customer service is our #1 priority. We go above and beyond, and words like synergy, next generation, and state of the art. Cliches are like cotton candy. They're fluffy, sweet, and devoid of any nutritional value. Who doesn't love cotton candy? Now, I strongly urge you to rewrite your profile in the third person, like refer to yourself as he or she. Now, some of you watching this might say, well, my profile's already in the third person. And I will say, you're off to a great start. You're already creating a wall between you and your audience, and we need the wall. Also, talking about yourself in the third person sends the message that you think you're better than everyone else. Even better than Richard Branson, who clearly hasn't done enough in his life to merit talking about himself in the third person. And for your profile, put in lots of typos. forget some punctuation, write your job title in the experience section all lowercase. You can get creative with this. Nothing says I overlook things more than typos. Okay, so we've covered your profile. Now let's look at another way to fail on LinkedIn, and that's engagement. You can either just stop engaging, or what I find more invigorating is doing lots of engagement that ignores people's boundaries. Now, first you could try connecting with people and then automatically launch into a sales pitch. As you know, people are on LinkedIn to network and to learn things. They don't want to be sold to. So sell to them as hard as you can so they run the other way. Now, your best bet is to put the sales pitch in the connection request, because then there's a huge chance they won't even connect with you. Now, you could try selling to them after they connect with you. If you're lucky, they'll then disconnect, but that's an extra step. Now, if you're discouraged because you have a whole bunch of connections, you've never tried selling to them before, listen, you can always send salesy direct messages. It is never too late to fail. But even beyond salesy direct messages, there are other annoying direct messages you can do. Like, I'm a huge fan of small talk direct messages, like, hi, how are you? I'm okay. How about you? I'm fine. Impersonal direct messages where you clearly cut and paste from one person to another are also off-putting, as well as overly personal direct messages, like sending a message to a woman that starts with, hey, beautiful. First, I'm a happily married woman. Second, you don't know what I look like without this makeup and the lighting, okay? I look closer to something like this. Overly personal direct messages get on my nerves so much, and I'm sure they're going to annoy lots of other women. So definitely try it. And while you're stalking people on LinkedIn, be sure to use scraping software and other automations. They're against LinkedIn's terms of service, so you could have your account temporarily, or if you're really lucky, permanently disabled. Imagine this, you invest all this time and money in this software only to have all your LinkedIn come crashing down. That's the way to go. Another way to completely ignore people's boundaries is through tagging. Like, if you write a post, tag 50 people, whomever you want. They don't have to actually have anything to do with the post. And then when they get notified that they were mentioned in your post, they'll stop what they're doing, they'll navigate their way to the post, and that's when they're gonna find out that the only reason you tag them is to make them read your post. Excessive tagging is so incredibly selfish, and it sends the message that your post is way more important than their time. It causes lots of resentment, so you gotta try it. I must say there are some LinkedIn members who are pioneering in this area. They are our role models. Or if you don't have time to tag 50 people, tag just a few people and ask them a probing question in your post. They'll feel forced to answer because if they don't, they'll look like a doofus. And if you're ever feeling lost with what to do with engagement, just remember this rule of thumb. Treat people how you would not want to be treated. Now, we're just about to go over how to fail with your overall LinkedIn content, but before we do that, I have a favor to ask. If there are any opportunities for self-sabotage that I didn't mention in this video, I would be so grateful if you could put them in the comments, because I really want to make this video a complete resource for our community. Thank you. Okay, so now let's explore LinkedIn content. Just like with engagement, you could either stop producing content altogether or go full hog into bad content. One obvious route for bad content is to sell like there's no tomorrow, like we've already spoken about. But there's even more bad content you can do. Like, why not ignore your audience's interests? Like for me, my audience wants practical LinkedIn strategies so they can grow their business. Therefore, I should totally post about these cute little Stanley Cup straw toppers I found on Etsy. The more our content strays from our audience's interests and even strays from what's listed in our profile, the less likely our posts will be delivered in people's news feeds. And for the few people who see our posts, they'll be totally confused. Now, if you're going to use something like ChatGPT to write your content, that's okay. But do not edit whatever ChatGPT spits out of its AI mouth. When you keep your text sounding just like ChatGPT, your potential customers will assume you have no original thoughts and perhaps not even the brain power to help them. It's a great way to drive people to your competitors. Now you also want to post on LinkedIn at completely the wrong times. And I actually made a video on the best times to post on LinkedIn, and some of those times might surprise you. And I apologize because clearly I was not in a good mental state to give you tips to succeed on LinkedIn. But what I recommend is just watch it anyway. It's right here in the top right corner, and just do the opposite of what it says. Thank you so much, and see you in the next video.